Hello and welcome to another episode of Killing the Boredom, where I just talk about movies, books, TV shows, whatever I've been reading or watching or listening to over the past week, and I share it with you in the hopes that maybe you guys find something that you want to check out. Before I start this episode, I kind of just want to address something. So, obviously, this is my first episode in a while, and I just stopped the podcast because I wasn't enjoying it, and I kind of realized recently that it was because I was just sanitizing what I was saying. I was just reviewing stuff and I was giving a really washed down version of what I was talking about. And I didn't make this to start reviewing things. I wanted to actually talk about my thoughts around art and, I want to express myself. This was supposed to be a creative endeavor for me. It's not super creative, obviously, but I wanted to synthesize my thoughts. I didn't want to just say what something was about. I wanted to talk about what I felt towards it, what it meant to me. And I haven't really been fucking doing that. So I just lost interest because, at the end of the day, I made this podcast for me. I made it because I wanted to, talk about art and all that shit. But I wasn't enjoying it because that's not what I was doing. So I'm coming back, but I'm going to be a bit more. I'm not going to prepare as much for these. I'm just going to sort of say what's on my mind because I started preparing, like writing notes. I'm like, I don't need to do that. I just want to say what's on my mind. Like, I want this to be more conversational. And yes, I'm not going to make notes. I'm going to come in less prepared. That will probably, these episodes will probably sound really choppy and not that great. But as I said, like, I made this for me. And if people want to listen, that's great. But at the end of the day, I did make this so that I could talk about things because I feel like I don't get the opportunity to really do that in my life. So yeah, with that said, apologies for if these episodes sound a bit, as I said, choppier, a bit more sloppy. I'm not going to edit them. I don't want to be putting heaps and heaps of time into this because this is more of a casual fun thing for me. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about that. But yeah, the first thing I want to talk about this week is Bo Burnham's Inside. So this is his third, or maybe no, this is his third stand-up special on Netflix. So the third one that I've seen. I think calling it a stand-up special was a bit reductive, though. I thought this was really good. So basically, it's a whole bunch of sketches and songs and stand-up bits all filmed within the same room. And obviously that's to reflect this sort of isolation that has been instilled upon us because of, COVID-19. Sorry. Yeah, and it's really, really fucking dark, actually. Like, what I love about Bo Burnham's comedy, and I think he does it the best in Inside, is he is so good at integrating it with emotion. He's very good at integrating, these moments of, laughter and like, proper comedy with moments of real, like, while also being really earnest and, opening up. And I thought he did that exceptionally well in this. And as the special gets, progresses, it gets increasingly darker and sadder. And yeah, I mean, he really fucking just hits the nail on the head. Like, you definitely feel, you definitely feel this special. It's not like, say, he's talking about being sad and you just understand him, but you feel it. You feel what he's trying to convey, and he's just so good at it. Like, his levels of, he does so much meta humor and his songwriting is really incredible. The songs are also really catchy. The songs are fucking funny too, like White Woman Instagram, FaceTime with my mum. They're all really funny. But I think what makes them so funny is, like, he doesn't just use, like, stupid little punchlines. He's really capturing the essence of these very common experiences, and especially the common experiences of, this isolation, this, that has been imposed because of COVID-19. He just captures it really, like, so fucking well. yeah, and I think that's what makes it so funny. He just captures it. He just captures these experiences so great. It like just yeah, he's very good at it. And his songwriting, it just as I said, it really conveys that. The songwriting is really good. And you know the musical elements of the songs are really good too. As I said, they're pretty catchy. They're memorable. They don't sound like cheap, if that makes sense. They don't sound like they sound like actual songs, if that makes sense. That yeah. And you know it's it's funny, you know, like with this special, it's you kind of come out of it not feeling that great because it's so dark and it's so sad. And I think a lot of people over the past 12 months or, you know, almost, you know, 18 months probably have really been feeling a lot of depression and sadness because of being isolated. And look, thankfully for me in Australia, it hasn't been too bad with isolation. We've been able to come in and out and it's been all right. I haven't minded it too much. It's given me a lot of time to think and self-reflect and build on myself. But I know in most places of the world, they haven't had that luxury. It's been very hard. It's been a very difficult time for a lot of people. And I mean, having just dealt with depression in the past, I still found the special incredibly relatable. The thing with Bo Burnham's specials is that he's so self-aware, like he's so self-aware of the special, and he's so self-aware of his own kind of place. Like it feels weird to commentate on it or make comments about it because he always kind of like, especially in Make Happy, not still in this special, but especially in Make Happy, he kind of addresses how no matter what, we as the audience will never understand his position. And while he wants to, you know, give us, you know, happiness and all that, it's like he feels like a dancing monkey, I guess, for us. But he approaches it with such nuance and such complexity. It's hard to commentate on it because it feels like by commenting on it and saying, oh, you know, his work was so deep or it was so, you know, he really captures the essence, he's a genius or whatever I say, it feels like I'm kind of buying into that whole relationship of entertainer audience where we idolize entertainers or we pretend like, oh, we understand them, but we don't. Like, I don't know Bo Burnham, obviously, right? No one knows him who's just like an audience member, even though he's very authentic in his stand-up specials and projects himself, you know, very like authentically. We don't know him, and when we say we know him, it kind of just makes this relationship really weird because he's trying to project authenticity, and we're trying to say, yeah, we get it, we can relate to it, but we don't. No matter how much he projects it, and no matter how much we accept it and try to understand it, at the end of the day, we're just an audience for him, and he really plays on that a lot in his stand-up specials. And I think it. You know, and even like when I make this assumption, it's weird because I think it does probably impact him mentally. It would be hard, right? Like fame would be hard. He talks about like we all want audiences, but maybe we shouldn't. But, you know, when I make that judgment as well, it's kind of the same thing. I'm trying to understand Bo Burnham as a person, not just as this performer. But I can't. Like, what am I saying? I don't know Bo Burnham. I only know him through his art. I understand this probably doesn't make sense. I'm rambling a little bit. I'm just thinking out loud. But, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look, I hope the guy is okay. Like, I mean, the dude's obviously going through some shit. And, you know, hopefully through creating his art, he has been able to work through it a bit more, because as I said, I think it seems like a really authentic piece of art, a really authentic, you know, special. He really puts himself out there and shows that he's, you know, he is vulnerable. You know, all the money and the fame in the world can't protect him from this thing that we're all going through at the moment. And I think watching Inside, I think people can relate to it. I think people can really find it very, I don't know. It just felt very real. Um, but this isn't to say it's all like sad. Like it's a very funny special. Like the reason as well that Bo Burnham's stuff is so good is because the man is legitimately really fucking funny. Like the dude is fucking hilarious. His comedic mind is great. Um, and then when you can combine that with the fact that he's also a very good musical talent, it creates for something that I thought was very unique. And after I finished watching it, I immediately thought this is going to be an instant classic. It's going to be. It was the first, I think, piece of media that had truly captured the essence of this strange time that we're going through. And I think it will probably go down as that as one of the classics of COVID time, and one of the first true pieces of media to truly capture the atmosphere of COVID. And I think it's going to really shift the paradigm a bit, just in terms of art. I feel like, I don't know. This is probably stupid to fucking make this assumption now, but I think this is going to be very influential in the way that people relate to the pandemic in terms of the art they create and how that's reflected. I don't know how, but I just feel like, I haven't seen many people watch the whole special and have not liked it or said it's unrelatable. I think it's so, he as I said, he's captured the fundamental feeling of this pandemic so well. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about it. It was fantastic. To call it a stand-up special isn't fair. It's just a great piece of media. It's more than just a stand-up special. Um, yeah, watch it. Watch Inside. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I think it's going to be an instant classic and looked back as, a very important piece of comedy. Um, yeah, and I'm looking forward to what Bo Burnham does next. I hope the dude can, find some peace and be happy and continue creating art. Um, because he painted a pretty grim picture of himself in the special. Sadly, I hope the dude's okay. Um, and I would love to see him eventually when this pandemic's over, going back to doing stage stuff, because I would love to go see him live. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Um, Excuse me. The next thing I'm going to talk about is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's at a new PlayStation 5 game. This game was fucking sick, dude. Like, I loved it. I've enjoyed the Ratchet and Clank series for so long. I think, yeah, so the second one, Locked and Loaded, I believe. Yeah, Locked and Loaded. Yeah, that was... Yeah, I think, yeah, Locked, Ratchet and Clank Locked and Loaded. I was going to say Combat Evolved, and I'm like, no, that's Halo. So Ratchet and Clank Locked and Loaded was the very first game I ever got, and I loved it. Like, it was just such a fun game. Had so much personality. And then since then, I've been obsessed with the game series. I haven't played all of them. I missed a lot of them in the PS3 generation because I didn't get a PS3 until I was a bit older. But now having the PS5 straight away and being able to play Rift Apart, I really enjoyed it. And the game looks incredible. Like, a lot of people have said, and I have to agree, it's like playing a Pixar movie. Like, the animation is spectacular. And I think what makes it look so good is the particle effects and the lighting. Like, the particle effects, like when you shoot a gun, seeing all just all these bits of particles, like smoke or like shrapnel, like coming out. It just looks fucking sick. That it adds so much realism to the game, because it just makes it feel like you're interacting with a real world. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem flat. And the lighting's awesome. Like, whenever you're shooting a gun, and the light is, creating shadows and stuff, like, say, if you're shooting like something that's, has this big orange blast, and it creates like you see the orange light radiate and shadows being created from that blast. It's fucking sick. I think my biggest problem with this game is that, I mean, Ratchet and Clank, obviously the OG trilogy, and then the games that kind of like Gladiator and stuff, they had a lot of personality. Like, there was a lot of adult humor like snuck into it, which you kind of realize as you got older. And I think that's what made the game so good, because even if you were a bit older, you could really still enjoy them. And I still really enjoyed this game, even though it's not as adult, but I feel like it's kind of cleaned up a little bit for younger audiences. And look, this game's still great, but I do miss that personality that the original Ratchet and Clank games had. I think we're not going to go back to that. Because obviously these games are getting so much praise. I don't think we're going to go back to those hidden, innuendos and stuff like that, which is unfortunate, and I think makes the story a bit less engaging, because I found it a lot more fun. I found it just more interesting back when they had those kind of jokes. And look, I'm not saying the game is bad by any stretch. It is a fantastic game, but I do miss that original personality that the older games had. That said, the great things about this game, the mechanics of Ratchet and Clank have mainly stayed the same throughout the entire series. If you had only played the first game and then played this game, there's a lot of the same stuff in it. Like, maybe not the first game, but maybe like the second game and this game, even though that's, I think over 15 years, and, 3 console generations, or 4 console generations, sorry, from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 5, they are still pretty similar. Like, you could play that second game and then pick this one up and still have a pretty good idea of how to play, like the weapon selection wheel, breaking the boxes, the pick up bolts and the vendors and all that. It's all very similar, traveling from planet to planet. And I think that's great, because it worked and they've just kept that. And what they've iterated for the most part is just, I mean, kind of not really much, to be honest. Like, throughout the series, a lot of the enemies have stayed the same. Like, we're still battling Dr. Nefarious. The platforming's kind of stayed the same. The puzzles change, but they're all kind of similar in how present they are in the game and their complexity. Yeah, I mean, the game's so good. It's just fun. It's just fun, like, having all these weird as fuck weapons and, just going around and blowing shit up. It's fun. Like, the arena stuff has stayed the same throughout the games. I would have liked more arena stuff in this game, I think. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I really enjoyed this game. It truly does feel like a next-gen game. Traveling through portals in this game is so cool, because they load complete levels, and there's no loading. Like, you just transport straight into it. It's crazy. Like, I think it's the SSD that's responsible for that in the PS5, just being able to go to new levels without loading, or just like a second of loading. It's fucking crazy, and I can't wait to see what games are going to look like or play like in 5 years. Because, like, Insomniac Games have been fucking on the ball with, like, they released Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank this year, both next-gen games, and I think they have 2 of the best games this year, along with Astro's Playroom. But these games are much larger in scope than Playroom, for sure. And I would say Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is probably the best looking game on the next gen so far, even though it's not like it's still cartoony, and that's the point, but it still just looks fantastic. And another thing that's really great about this game is it's very cinematic. There's a lot of what are they called? A lot of like set pieces, which are really fun. Naughty Dog are usually very good at them, but yet Insomniac Games have absolutely killed it in regards to the cinematic set pieces in this game. I don't really have much else to say about it. The storyline is nothing special, but I mean, you kind of expect like a Ratchet and Clank game. It's more about just enjoying the characters, enjoying the worlds. The worlds are all interesting. They all look incredible. All the planets are just absolutely beautiful, and they have personality, which is like the Ratchet and Clank series has always been great with that is creating these worlds that they just feel they feel like real worlds. You can really buy into them, and they're beautiful. I've always enjoyed the world building in Ratchet and Clank and the lore, and it's just such a fun universe to play in. But as I said, look, the storyline is nothing incredible. It didn't blow me away, but it's fun enough. The most impressive part of this game is just the graphics and just that it's fun to play. And I think, that's obviously probably the most important part of a video game is it has to be enjoyable. And this is one of the most fun game series, I think. I don't think I've played a bad Ratchet and Clank game. I know a lot of people kind of didn't like the remake that came out, I think it was in 2016. But I thought it was fun. And I think this is fun. This is a really good game. And you should get it if you've got a PS5. Next, I'm going to try and platinum it. That's when I know it's a fun game. If I'm going to go for the platinum, which I am for this one, then I know, like, they've made a good fucking game. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. You can't really dive into depth too much with games like this because there's not a heap to talk about other than just the specs, how it's fun. The weapons are all really cool. I didn't hate the inclusion of Rivet and Kit, the alternate dimension versions of Ratchet and Clank. I didn't hate it. I didn't really have an issue with it. But I mean, Ratchet and Clank are the OGs. I like them more than I like Rivet and Kit. But I'm not particularly against it either. I'm just kind of impartial. People losing their fucking minds over female Lombax are fucking, like, bro, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck? You still got Ratchet and Clank. It's fine. Like, it's cool. It doesn't fucking matter if there's a female Lombax. It's not PC gone mad. Like, it's fucking fine. Oh god, I remember people losing their fucking minds because they thought Rivet was trans, and like, bro, who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter, dude. It's a fucking video game. It's not the fucking SJWs trying to mind wash you, bro. It's just a fucking game. Anyway, yeah. Look, as I said, I didn't love the inclusion of Rivet and Kit, but I didn't hate it either. It's like, whatever. It's just it didn't impact my enjoyment of the game whatsoever. The game is just as fun playing as Rivet as it is playing as Ratchet. So, yeah. I don't know what else to really talk about this week. I know that I've talked about The Expanse over the past 4 episodes. I haven't finished season 5 yet, so I will talk about it next episode. I have been enjoying it so far, though. That's what I'll say. The new episode of Rick and Morty was really fucking good. I really liked it, which was a surprise because I thought they kind of felt... Season 3, when... I hate being this guy, but when Rick and Morty started to become a bit more mainstream and a bit more popular, so around like season 3 and then especially in season 4, I felt like it fell off the wagon a little bit. I felt like the writing just went really, really downhill. Especially in season 4, like I barely remember any episodes from season 4. Like I remember the Vat of Acid episode was a fucking good episode, but apart from that, I thought it was okay. There was some good episodes, but like as I said, I can't remember them. I was talking to my friends last night, and they're like, one of them was like, "Yeah, I don't even know if I watched season 4." Like it's an entire season of a television show. You know what I mean? Like if you can't remember, it's probably nothing that great happened. So I was going into this looking forward to it, but a bit apprehensive. I was like, "Fuck, please do not be shit, or please do not be okay." Because I think Dan Harmon is I think he's a comedic genius. Community is in my top 3 shows of all time. That show is so fucking funny. I really want a movie of it. as a side note. But yeah, that show is so funny. And the first couple of seasons of Rick and Morty were also just like excellent. And then yeah, I felt like it's sort of decreased in quality a little bit. But so far, like this episode was really funny, and the sci-fi slash fantasy elements of it were really good. Yeah, I thought it was great. It was a great episode. I won't spoil what it's about. But yeah, really fucking good episode. I was really impressed. If season 5 can keep this up, it could be up there with one of the best seasons. I think yeah, I think this is one of the best episodes of Rick and Morty, to be honest. Watch it, especially if you think the last season or so has dipped in quality a little bit. I think watch it, and all my friends agree that the last season or so hasn't been great, but this episode was really good. I think I was wrong in saying the last couple of seasons. I think season 3 was really good, and season 4 was really disappointing. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't have much else to say for this week. I don't know when the next episode will be. I'm going to try and record episodes when no one's at my house, which isn't that often, but it's just because I can sort of be a bit louder and I don't have to worry about people being loud or like listening in or like wanting to know what I'm doing or whatever. Also just because I'm a bit of a anxious, shy guy. Not shy, but I get embarrassed when people hear me doing shit. Like talking in my room by myself, to myself for half an hour. It just makes me sort of go into my shell and I kind of like whisper and stuff. But I don't want to do that. I want to express myself. And honestly, I enjoyed that episode more than I have enjoyed previous episodes because I've just been honest about what I've thought about things. And I know it's been clunky. I know I've gone in circles saying something or like gone on about something for a minute. But as I said, like, I'm doing this for me. I want to talk about shit. I want to get shit off my mind. And I hope you guys still enjoy it. If anyone's listening. If you are listening, you can obviously comment, tell me your thoughts. If you want me to change, if you've got any suggestions for a slightly different format, or, I'm always open to suggestions. Otherwise, you can email me at killingtheboredom@gmail.com. And yeah, I hope you guys have been doing well, and hopefully I'll talk to you next week. But if not, I will definitely talk to you again. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. All right, talk to you later. Bye.